Support WrestleTalk!
Share this video on social media.
Thank you for being an awesome pledgehammer on Patreon, the Beast, Brock Taylor. Hello and welcome to the WrestleTalk Mecha News. I am Luke Owen. Give us a subscribe, press the thumbs up button, and leave a comment down below to answer our question of the day. Where would you like to see CM Punk go, WWE or AEW? And we'll be talking about a possible CM Punk WWE return later in this news episode, as well as backstage reports on NXT going to USA Network and a huge AEW star suffering a possible injury ahead of All Out. And at the end of this news, we'll be releasing my Muscle Man dance video punishment for losing WrestleTalk Season 2, which I think might just be as much of a punishment for you as it was for me.
Game? What's a game?
Click the timestamps down below to jump to any of those stories. But first, we'll kick off this news episode by sending out our congratulations to Seth Rollins' girlfriend Becky Lynch and Becky Lynch's boyfriend Seth Rollins, as the man took to Twitter and Instagram to announce she's engaged to the Beast Slayer's massive bank account. The current Raw Women's Champion posted this was the happiest day of her life, and her co-workers and friends were out in force to also share their excitement, ranging from the standard replies from the likes of Nikki Bella saying, "Ah, yay, love this so much, you deserve all the happiness in the world," and Brie Bella adding, "Yay, congrats, so happy for you both," to the more ridiculous expressions of emotions like Renee Young, who posted, "This is the best!" But that's a lot of lady folk responding. Let's check in with how super serious Lance Storm reacted to the news. Congrats to you both. Not even a hint of an emergency there, Lance, I love it. On a serious note, while it is funny to poke fun at Seth Rollins for his recent Twitter missteps and his lack of selling in recent weeks, this is fantastic news for both of them, and we here at WrestleTalk wish you a lifetime of happiness. Let's all raise a glass to the happy couple. Maybe they could talk about their upcoming wedding planning on a new podcast series, as the Hollywood Reporter announced yesterday that WWE have partnered with Endeavor Audio to launch a WWE podcast network. And with every wrestler in the world having a podcast these days, WWE have picked the perfect time to jump into this incredibly saturated market. Details on the series they're going to launch will be announced at a later date, but we wish them the best luck in their future endeavor. Get it? You know, Endeavor Audio and... yeah, you get it. Triple H said of the news on Twitter, another expansion of WWE's massive social and digital footprint. The partnership between Endeavor Audio and WWE will bring a best-in-class production to our fans. Which is a bold claim, Triple H. Good luck becoming one of the banging pods to listen to ahead of WrestleMania. Not my words, Trips, the words of Metro Newspaper. Ooh, a basketball special. Dave Meltzer first reported that Bischoff's role within WWE would be very different to the one Paul Heyman has on Raw, despite them having the same title, with Heyman working closely with the creative team and Vince McMahon, while Bischoff will instead be a go-between for WWE departments and TV networks to make sure everyone is on the same page. Meltzer noted that Bischoff wouldn't have any creative involvement, and his name hasn't been mentioned in any meetings with the SmackDown writers. But Bischoff himself denied these reports, saying that he was still in an induction phase for the role before he really sinks his teeth into it. However, that was a month or so ago now, so what's the latest? Well, Brian Alvarez has posted on the Wrestling Observer message board when someone asked him what level of involvement Bischoff has on SmackDown, saying, "As of last week, I was told he shows up." Maybe he's still in the induction phase, I don't know. Speaking of former WCW employees, and it was a surprise to wrestling fans around the world when former voice of WCW Tony Schiavone appeared on an episode of AEW's Road to All Out, not the least of which MLW, who currently have Schiavone under contract. It was then reported that Schiavone was set to leave MLW and head over to AEW before their weekly TV show debuts this coming October on TNT. Dave Meltzer has now reported in the latest Wrestling Observer newsletter that Schiavone and AEW have reached a deal for him to come in and call their shows, adding that All Elite Wrestling and MLW have also come to an agreement for Schiavone to work for both promotions. Interestingly, Meltzer adds that once the new wrestling war began following AEW's launch in January, WWE were also interested in signing Tony Schiavone. And this ties into a previous report that WWE are currently trying to sign as much talent as possible, even people they have no interest in order to stop them going to competition. But Schiavone isn't the the only commentator signed by AEW, as Golden Boy announced via Twitter he's also signed a deal with the company. Golden Boy provided the commentary for AEW's second show, Fyter Fest, a show which wrestling fans said was a big step up in terms of commentary following the criticisms of Alex Marvez at Double or Nothing. It's unknown at this point when Schiavone will start with AEW or if he'll even be around for All Out next weekend. And someone else with a scary question mark over their head and All Out is Jon Moxley, who made a huge impact in All Elite Wrestling when he debuted for the company in the closing moments of Double or Nothing. Moxley is set to face Kenny Omega at All Out in one of the show's big marquee matches, but it's now being reported he could be dealing with an elbow injury. Dave Meltzer is reporting that Mox might have picked up an infection while in Japan working the G1, and noted that all of his advertised singles matches for Northeast Wrestling were turned into tag matches, with the exception of his match with Pentagon Jr., which he insisted on doing and was careful not to take any bumps on his elbow. There's no word on whether Moxley will be cleared for All Out, and we here at WrestleTalk wish him a speedy recovery. But what's the backstage chatter on AEW's new head-to-head competition? After months and months of speculation, it was announced by WWE this week that NXT would be heading to national TV and going head-to-head with AEW with a new live 2-hour format. However, NXT isn't going to FS1, which had been the original plan, with Fox telling their affiliates a few weeks ago to expect a new wrestling show on that channel, and will instead air on the USA Network, the current home of Raw and SmackDown Live. It's being reported that Triple H told NXT wrestlers at the most recent set of TV tapings that a TV announcement would be coming soon, which would be done on Raw, which WrestleVote also reported. As we now know, the announcement never came, with the speculation being that WWE were upset the news leaked out early and scrapped the segment. As to why NXT will air on the USA Network and not FS1 as originally planned, all comes down to All Elite Wrestling. Dave Meltzer writes, anyone who knows Vince McMahon knew the move would be a counter. The key point brought up that a lot of people felt that a show on lower rated FS1, which is in fewer homes than TNT, could lose in the ratings, something in this case McMahon couldn't stand for. He adds, as Vince McMahon noted internally, wrestling fans are already conditioned to watch WWE on USA and not on FS1. Plus, in a wrestling war, being on a stronger station and in slightly more homes overrode the advantages of being with Fox. Meltzer adds that someone close to the situation told him that because USA Network usually pulls in 1 million viewers for Suits on that day in that time slot, there's now pressure on NXT to deliver on ratings. While Vince McMahon currently has no involvement in NXT, even when it goes live on USA, that situation could change if the show doesn't draw in fans. Not only that, but USA Network this year have been heavily involved in changes to Raw and SmackDown, including demanding the Raw reunion special and the creation of the Wild Card, which was a compromise made by Vince McMahon as USA wanted to scrap the brand split entirely. One massive positive to all of this, apart from us wrestling fans getting to enjoy a lot of great wrestling, is that top-tier NXT stars will now likely be offered new higher-paid contracts. Meltzer writes, while not confirmed, the word going round is that all developmental deals are going to be changed to main roster deals shortly. One would think that WWE would up the scale for new signees to prevent the next hot talent from going to AEW, but that also hasn't happened yet, but it does figure to be the next logical step as this plays out. But now it's time for everyone's favorite segment on the WrestleTalk news, speculation on CM Punk's wrestling future. Ever since All In last year, there has been speculation that CM Punk could strike up a deal with Cody and the Young Bucks. However, Punk said recently that he's been annoyed at Cody and the Bucks posting about their meetings and talks on social media, as it just adds fuel to the fire of CM Punk to AEW confirmed. And in perhaps the most surprising news of 2019, Dave Meltzer is now reporting a lot of people believe, because how the talks with AEW went and his public reaction a few weeks ago, that he's WWE bound. This news is surprising for several reasons, not the least of which the lawsuit between Punk Colt Cabana and WWE doctor Chris Amann. And Dave Meltzer adds that those he's spoken to in WWE don't believe he'll return. However, the word is that CAA, the talent agency that represents both Punk and WWE, reached out to Fox about the possibility of Punk hosting the WWE talk show on FS1. Meltzer adds the impression is WWE wouldn't like it, but things change daily. It's only something Punk's agent brought up. So after months and months of CM Punk to AEW confirmed, we might be heading back to CM Punk WWE Return confirmed. And now, as the loser of Wrestle League Season 2, I present to you my punishment video, the Muscle Man Dance. Enjoy it if you can.
Today, I have something super serious to talk to you about. Exercise!
We're really glad that you're our friends, and this is a friendship that'll never ever end.
When it comes to mind, body, and spirit, you gotta be at your best. You gotta look good and feel good. This is my friend, Huskus the Pete Boy. And as you can see, he doesn't take good care of himself.
This is really demeaning.
Just say the damn lines, Pete.
But the chocolate is so good in my piggy belly.
Say the other line, Pete.
No.
Say the line, Pete.
I want more.
Oh, Huskus! You know, no one's gonna tell you this, buddy, but all this excessiveness and gluttony is gonna come back to bite you on the tail.
Please don't poke me.
But one day, you could be great. One day, people are gonna tell you that you're a genius. They're gonna tell you that your Control-C, Control-V gimmick is quite funny.
Really?
Really.
The both of you better get your act together, or you're...
Yowie wowie! Hold on a second there, boss. Huskus the Pete Boy will sort himself out.
I hate you guys.
Trust me. And I know the perfect way to do it. Hit it! You got it, dude! Now shake those hips and let your backbone slip. Pull up your pants and do the muscle man dance. Just follow my voice. You don't really have a choice. And pull up your pants and do the muscle man dance. And wiggle your behind. Erase your mind. And pull up your pants and do the muscle man dance. Wow, Huskus the Pete Boy!
Please stop calling me that.
We're ready for a night on the town!
Thank you, Luke. I feel better already.
You see what happens when you trust me? And remember, Swaff Nation, I will always make videos. All you have to do is just give us a subscribe. Bye! See ya! See ya! See ya! Watch me play Castlevania poorly by clicking the Screenstalker video that's just appeared on screen right now. I promise you it's probably better than watching me dance. I've been Luke Owen, and that was Mecha News!